Hi, my name is Mashanta and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a space where I love talking about all things beauty. In today's video, I wanted to recreate a simple look that I think is very versatile, and this is the look that I've managed to recreate. If you want to see how I've created this look, then I hope you will stick around. I have just washed my face right now and I've put some toner to give it some hydration. But this is how my skin looks right now. You can see I have some friends here on my forehead. I have pretty pigmented lips and pretty much a brown skin girly. I want to prime my face. I don't usually prime my face, especially if my skin is really well moisturized. But today I've just put toner, so I do think it needs a bit of priming. So I have right here the Dolce & Gabbana Secret Veil Hydrating Primer. This is a very interesting product in the sense I really like the texture. I think it's a very pillowy marshmallow type texture. Dab it all over my face. Now, primers are used for different purposes. Sometimes they're used for hydrating and moisturizing. Sometimes they're used for smoothing, to give your face a smooth canvas. So therefore, different primers are formulated differently. This one is, I think, a combination of hydrating and smoothing. So for example, as I rub this, I can feel that the texture of my skin in that area has become smooth. So I am rubbing this in. I know at first glance it looks like it has a white cast, but that is only temporary. You just rub it in a little bit and it disappears. Now, to be fair, I don't have much experience with primers. I haven't used many primers. Like I said, I don't use it all the time. So the primers that I have, they last me a really long time. For example, this one, I remember I bought it in Feb 2022. Honestly, primers are one of those products where you really don't need to spend too much. So as far as primer performance goes, this is a good primer, but I really don't think it's worth the luxury price tag that I paid for it. Now it's sunk into my skin. It gives me a bit of luminosity, but it doesn't, I feel it's like matching my shade tone exactly now. So it needs a bit of work to rub it in. Hydrated, plumped up, juiced up. And the products that I use on top of this have worked well with this primer in the past, so I'm not worried about pilling either. First, I want to do my eyes. Now, there is no set order on this. You can do your face first and then your eyes first and then your face. I prefer to do the eyes first and then face. And the reason I like doing that is because sometimes when I use eyeshadow, there is fallout. So then I can clean it up when I'm actually doing my face. I'm going to start with priming my eyes with concealer. Now, I do have slightly pigmented eyes. Now, you can use either an eyeshadow eye primer or a concealer. And I have a lot of concealer. So, this is one good way to use up concealer. And I think it solves the same purpose. This is the Tower 28 concealer in the shade Pali. You can see that I actually find that this concealer is slightly yellow for me. But as far as performance goes, it's really good. It's very, as the name suggests, it's a very liquidy concealer, so it's great for blending. Usually I use my finger to blend, but today I want to try this blending brush. This is the ProArt P03 blending brush. Let me start with fingers and then I'll use the brush to blend it out. So you can see that does such a good job of just brightening the entire area. And the reason it brightens is it's because it's slightly yellow. And the areas where I feel like it's creasing a bit, I like using the brush. And you can see it does such a good job of blending. So now I'm going to do the other side. Now you can instantly see the difference just putting concealer all over my eyes makes. It partially covered the slight dark circles and shadows that I had under my eyes. And it definitely makes me look more awake. And this is without any eyeshadow, right? So I think this, even just applying concealer around your eyes would be great for a no makeup look. The Pat McGrath Labs eyeshadow. This is a mini eyeshadow palette called Midnight Voyage. Voyage. It's called Midnight Voyage. And you can see the colors here. Lovely colors. and I think very versatile for somebody and in the tan to deep skin tone range. So I think it's a really lovely eyeshadow palette, and it's also, I mean, Pat McGrath eyeshadow quality can do no wrong, and it's also supremely comfortable for traveling. Like, it's smaller than my palm. It's really good. If you have not used Pat McGrath before, this is a great way to try her products because it's a very accessible price point. If I remember right, this was around $30. I'm going to be using the light taupey shade on top first. I like using my fingers, honestly. I just find it easier to control and blend. That's how it looks. And you can see it's instantly blended out to give me like a brown smoky eye. And I didn't even use a brush. It's so simple. So that's what I really like about Pat McGrath eyeshadows. They are such high quality, very pigmented, very blendable. So it becomes just super easy to work with.
Girl, you're my energy. Use me up like a battery. Tell me that you're okay. I've been driving all day, yeah.
And you can see how it looks. I'm gonna get you closer. Sorry, I work with natural sunlight because that shows, according to me, the true color of the makeup. I mean, I could work with studio lights, but I do find that they wash it out a bit, and sometimes, yeah, can be a bit misleading in my opinion. Now, honestly, if I didn't have time, I would just stop with this at this point, right, and I would just go in with mascara, finish the rest of the makeup look up. But because I am making a YouTube video, I want to play with this palette a bit more. I see this really nice, you can see ashy brown color here, like a deep brown color here. Brown color is something that I want to use. So I have this Pro Art P06 eyelid and eyebrow applicator. This is the sponge. I've never really used this, but let's see how it works. So this is how it looks. You know, it's like an aubergine color, and I want to put it on the outer corner of my eye, and I'm experimenting with this. I haven't tried this look before, but let's see how it looks. And you can see it's a very slight smokiness at the outer edge of the eye. And the advantage of putting deeper colors on the outer edge is it gives your eyes a lot more dimension. Now, normally I would use my finger, but I want to practice using this brush. I do find using a finger a bit too messy, and sometimes you can end up putting a lot of excess eyeshadow, and therefore cleaning up becomes difficult. Here you do put less eyeshadow and probably waste a lot more, but at least you can really control the application. So that's how it is on the other side, if you can see. And you can see that both of these colors work really well together. Now that I've put the deeper color, you just want to neaten this up because when you come closer you can see that it is a bit splotchy in places. So I'm going to blend it out now. And I'm using the brush that we used to conceal earlier and just blending. Now blending is literally brushing through without any color, and you just brush it through to make this a bit more even. So when I'm in the front of the eye, I use the lighter color. When I'm in the back of the eye, like at the edge of the eye, I use the deeper color. And that's how you blend. Now, blending is something that takes time and takes practice. You need to keep checking from far in the, like at least now when I'm filming, I check in the viewfinder. I keep checking in the mirror if this is looking fine. So I'm just going to keep blending and come back. Now this is how my eyes are blended together. You can hopefully see the gradation from the light brown to the deep purpley brown at the edges, and I've just used those two shades. So now the eyes are done, so you can get back to the face. When it comes to the face, the steps are pretty standard for me. So first I go in with a color corrector. This is a Live Tinted color corrector Huestick in the shade Rise. It's literally like a peachish orangish crayon. Now I like to go around the areas where I have a bit of pigmentation, a bit of shadowing. So definitely under the eyes. And I know it can look scary, but it will get blended out. On the sides of my nose, on my nasolabial folds. Then I feel the area around my mouth has a bit of pigmentation, so I actually go all around with the color corrector. And I do like this formula. I think it's like the perfect balance between being blendable but firm, so it gives me a lot of control, I would say. And that's how it is, and I will be blending this out. So I've started blending this out. Usually I use a sponge, but you can use a sponge or your fingers. So today I don't have my sponge with me, so I'm going to go with my fingers. So it's literally like swiping motions with your finger. And you can see once it's blended out, it looks so different versus when it isn't blended out. So you want to be patient with this. Of course, going in with the sponge is easier and quicker, but unfortunately I seem to have misplaced my sponge. So just there I am with the color corrector blended out. You can still see it in places, but that's okay because you're going to be going with your concealer and your moisturizer / foundation anyway. So I'm going to go back in with the Tower 28 Serum Concealer, which we had used initially to prime the eyes. So exactly the places where I use the color corrector, I'm going to go over those places with the concealer. So in parts of my face, sides of my nose, the nasolabial folds, all around my mouth. My approach to makeup is pretty much less is more, to be honest, especially when it comes to base makeup. So you can see I just went in with one swipe and I just used that all over. If we need more, I can go in for another round. But initially I like using in like just what's already there. And I'm using this Pro Art foundation brush P01. I usually do this with sponges, but you know I have this brush next to me, so I'm going to try. Under the eye, you want to just be careful and go in like with this sort of a motion, like an upward swiping motion, because that's what helps with giving the lifted appearance. And you want to like softly dab on these areas, so you can see the nasolabial folds have sort of gotten that coverage that we needed with the color corrector. So I am using dabbing motions, if you notice, like patting motions almost. And you can see how well it's not perfectly blended because I haven't used a tinted moisturizer all over, but you can see that it's getting there now. It's honestly crazy to me how much of a difference just color correcting and concealing can make. Like, you literally don't even need foundation. And I really like how this concealer sinks into the skin. Pretty good. And you could see earlier the concealer was looking quite yellow, but along with the color, the peachiness, oranginess of the color corrector and my natural skin tone, I think it's blended out pretty beautifully. Yes, the coverage isn't that great, but I honestly don't have a problem if my dark circles show, honestly. I just wanted it to be a bit more even. So now I have the concealer all blended out, and you can see while it's blended out pretty well, there are still bits where the color corrector is visible. And if you come really closer, like I would love to stop here, but if somebody comes really close, you can see patches of bare skin, which doesn't look that great. So next I'm going in with the Nars Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer, and this is in the shade Cuzco, and I use like a very little amount, like literally just that much. I like going in layers, so I use a bit of that, dab it all over, you know, just literally like how I applied the primer, just go all over. Pay a bit more attention to the areas which don't have the concealer coverage. And I just use my fingers and work in sections. And I know this doesn't look very advanced and it seems very basic, but honestly, when it comes to base makeup, especially as someone with imperfect skin, I do have texture, I do have acne on my skin. I find that when I try to put too much makeup, like a lot of foundation, cake it up, it really doesn't look nice in real life, like, you know, off the camera. This is something that works for me. And in fact today, usually I have to go with 1.5 pumps, but today I think I used my skin is also behaving and I used quite a bit of concealer and color corrector, so I don't feel the need to go in with more. Like, while it does match my neck, I just want to make sure that the application is perfectly even. And I really like this moisturizer because you can see that it blends in so well. Like, it's such a good moisturizer. I call it moisturizer, but it's such a good skin tint. And then whatever excess is there on my nose, and you can see even on my nose when I've blended it out, it really sinks into the skin, which I love. And I also love that it doesn't mattify the skin. And you also want to double check how it interacts with the hairline, because sometimes it's not blended well at the hairline, so it can look like two different hair colors. Two different colors. And even at the hairline, it depends on the foundation that you use. Sometimes there have been instances where I've used foundation that has spilled at their hairline. So sorry I'm coming this close to the camera, but I just wanted you to see how it looks. And that's the base. I think it looks very nice, very natural, very luminous, very glowy. And even if you come close, it doesn't look caked up at all, which is exactly the look that I wanted. So for eyes, now that the base is done, I want to tackle my eyebrows and my eyelashes. And eyebrows, I have actually gotten microblading done, which is like tattooing your eyebrows almost. And it's perfect if you have gaps in your eyebrows, which I do have quite a bit. But the thing is, it's the kind of thing that you need to top up every year, year and a half. And the last time I got it done was last year. So you can already see that there's a bit of gap that's starting to show. But I don't want to go and get microblading done again just yet. So I do want to fill in that gap. For that, I have Kosas Brow Pop Nano. It's an eyebrow pencil, and tip of this product is so precise. It really helps with filling in the brows. This is how tiny it is. So I'm just going in and filling my brows, coming a little closer so you can see. So now the challenge with this is, of course, it takes a lot of time to fill my brows, but it's so precise. It really helps you be very, very specific with your strokes. This is what you want when it comes to working with your eyebrows, because that's how your eyebrows will look natural. So I'm just going in with light feathery strokes. Any mistakes you can immediately rub off. And you can see I'm just concentrating on the areas where I had that gap. And you can see how different the eyebrows look. It's crazy. It's crazy. Look at the difference between this eyebrow and this eyebrow. If you find that it's a bit too dark, you can always go in with a bit of powder to reduce the intensity. But I like going in dark first, and then when I'm done with the entire look, taking stock of whether I need to do that again or not. So I'm going to do the other eyebrow and then come back. So I'm back with my brows filled in. I know it can look a bit intense. You could stop here, but when you look closely, I see that my hairs are sort of all over the place where I've gone with the pencil. So then I use this Benefit Gimme Brow Plus, which is like a brow pomade or brow gel, just to put the hair in place, and it also gives it a bit of volume. I just comb this through to make sure all the eyebrow hair is in the same direction. It it makes a very subtle but important difference. And any mistakes, you can like just use your finger to take it off, and you can see what a difference just getting your eyebrows done this way makes to the overall look. Now going in for the lashes, I have this Gucci mascara, which is I think past its prime. It's already been I think 6 months, but I really love this mascara because it gives me the most light fluttery lashes. So the way I like applying mascara is putting it on top first and then going underneath. So I'm going to come closer, hopefully you can see. And as I'm going from bottom to top, I give it a bit of a wiggle. And I really find that this mascara doesn't weigh my lashes down. So it separates them, it lengthens them, gives it volume, gives it a bit of a curl. I wouldn't say it's a very curl enhancing mascara, but doesn't give it any of the chunkiness, you know, or the spikiness that I usually see. I don't know if it's visible because my eyeshadow is also quite intense, but this is the difference between this eye and this eye, mascara without mascara. And this is me mascaraed up, and I'm really loving the look. We just have 2 more steps. So now it's time for blush. I'm using the Patrick Ta Blush Duo in the shade Oh She's Different. I have been seriously loving this blush shade so much. It has a cream formula and then a powder formula. Now I like going in with cream first and then powder, even though Patrick Ta, who created this blush, says powder first and then cream. Somehow cream first and then powder is a lot more intuitive for me. Now the way I apply blush is I look into the mirror and I smile, and that helps me find the apples of my cheeks. Looks like there's nothing on, but that's deceptive because when I put the powder, it really powers through. So found the apples of my cheeks, and then I'm going in with the powder. This is how the powder, and see, that's what I meant by it powers through when you put the powder on top of the cream. Don't worry, I know this can look intense, but I'll always obviously subdue this. With blush, it's okay. Like, you don't have to get scared when it looks like it's a lot, because with just a bit of finesse, you can reduce this very easily. The way I finesse it is by going in with a buffing brush that I had used earlier and spreading it out. And suddenly, it looks a lot better. Now it's time for lipstick. Today I'm going to try the Lisa Eldridge lipstick in the shade Velvet Sorcery. It's a brown lipstick, like a brown tone nudish lipstick. This is how it swatches. And I thought, given my eye color, I thought this would look quite nice. It's really nice. It's like a mauvey brown. And I'm going to put a bindi because I'm wearing Indian today. It's a bit too high. Yeah. Can you see, like, having a bindi completely instantly changes the look. It's crazy. And there you have the finished look. I think it looks really nice. Obviously, I would not wear a bindi if I was wearing a western outfit, but because I am in a kurti today, I thought the bindi is a really nice touch. You could stop here, but if you want to ensure longevity, you do want to have a setting or a finishing spray. And I have the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This has been in my OG. This is probably like the 4th or 5th bottle that I'm going through. And it really works very well to set the makeup. So I'm going to do that. And there you've got the finished look. Now, I am partial to this luminous look. I find myself gravitating towards this kind of look, but earlier I used to prefer matte looks. So if I wanted to mattify this, I would use like a setting powder, like the Charlotte Tilbury setting powder, or what I have here with me is the Pat McGrath under eye setting powder, and both of those powders are beautiful, finely milled, work really well in setting your makeup. But I don't want to set my makeup because I really like this natural luminous finish that I've ended up with, so I want to keep that. And I'm not going anywhere, I'm just at home, so I don't feel the need to do that. This is the complete look. I hope you found this useful. I was never sure if I should do like a get ready with me showing more looks. I've done that before, but I wasn't sure if it would be useful. I'm just a makeup enthusiast. It's not like I'm a makeup artist or anything, but one thing I do want to say is the same person who is doing all of this also could never put eyeliner on her own, never put a eye pencil or kajal on her own, right? So if someone like me who was at that stage, who did not know anything, can get to this point where I can pick this up, then I really think anybody can. So I really hope makeup doesn't intimidate you, and I hope this video was a little helpful and got you closer to make it more accessible for you. And let me know if there are any sort of makeup looks. What are the makeup looks to create? Either they are trending looks like the latte makeup, winter makeup, you know, stuff like that, or any celebrity recreations. I really enjoy playing with makeup. It feels like meditation for me. So I am just waiting for a chance to create looks. It's just that I'm worried that it can get boring, which is why I haven't really done many sit-down makeup looks in front of the camera. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you liked this video, the channel, the vibes of the channel, me, then I would love it if you would consider subscribing and spreading the word. Thank you so much. I'll see you around.